guys, Jeff Gustafson here, and today I'm giving you my 5 of my best tips for catching fish on Lake of the Woods. So number 1, you notice the rods on the deck of my boat. I've got yellow braid on all of them. It's yellow regular Power Pro, and a few reasons why I like to go with the high vis yellow. And there's other colors you can see good, red, white, you know, with the braid. I like the high vis stuff because I want to be able to watch it. So when I'm using a bait like this, you know, smeltonator with a jerk shad on it, I can see bites when my bait's falling. If I'm using like a Ned rig, I can see exactly when it hits the bottom, then I can start shaking it, working it back to the boat. With a wacky rig, like a Senko style bait, if you cast it around a laydown or a dock somewhere where you might get a largemouth, you can lay your line down, and you can actually see when those fish bite it, give them a 2 count and let them have it. So yellow braid, high vis braid, gonna help you catch a few more fish. If you fish Lake of the Woods all the time, the best investment you can make is get yourself one of the new Ontario version 2 or newer chips. Used to be just the Woods Rainy chip, but the new Ontario chips have the entire Lake of the Woods, Rainy Lake, mapped in high definition. So there's like tons of detail. I've got, you know, dozens of spots that weren't on the traditional mapping. They're all on this now, so I'm sort of sad about that. But the mapping's really good. You can shade it to highlight certain depths, you know, that say all the walleyes were in 18 to 22 feet. You could actually highlight that zone and, you know, really be able to pick out those spots easily. Shows you where the breaks are, where the flats are on all these little humps and pieces of structure, and just really gives you a lot of detail. You can see that little sharp edge we've caught a few bass on, so that's got a waypoint. But any of these points, I mean, it just shows you where to keep your boat, where the fish are probably going to be set up, and going to help you catch more fish no matter which species you're chasing. Okay guys, tip number 3. A lot of the Z-Man Elaztech baits work really good out here. The jerk shads, the small swim baits, all the Ned baits, some good drop shotting baits. But when you are going to use these on a jig head, and I say it all the time, but that's the biggest mistake and hard time that I see people have with these baits, is getting them on the jig head nice and straight. So, you know, you want to kind of measure where that hook point's going to come out. So kind of right there. So I'm going to watch that. And then when I put it on, the baits actually have a line across the middle of the back, these jerk shads do. So I just try to kind of line up on that and come out in the right place. And then now, when you get to this point, the trick is to snap it on there. So I'm gonna pinch the Elaztech like that and just sort of pull it on. We're gonna get a little bit closer. There, got a better grip on it. And now you can see I got a little bit of a curl in there. I put the hook point just a hair too far. So we're gonna back that off a bit, sort of re-snap that in place, and then there you go. Now it's on there nice and straight. Do that with the Ned baits as well and the small swim baits. And then the other thing, mandatory super glue these baits to the jigs, and the fish are never gonna pull them down, and you're gonna be able to just literally catch dozens of fish on that one bait. So get them on there straight and glue them. All right guys, tackle storage, obviously big important deal for me. I'm traveling, fishing different places all over the place. So one of my favorite things, sort of tackle storage solutions now, are these Z-Man bait blocks containers. So they're actually kind of padded, foamy. So if it's hot out, you can kind of keep the baits in these. They're not going to get too hot and melt. This is my finesse baits, and probably could be a little more organized, but I've been on the go. But it's where I keep a lot of my finesse shads, my TRD minnows, drop shot and baits. I got some Ned baits, the TRD bugs, hula sticks, and then on this end, just some of the different Ned baits, the big TRDs, ticklers. But I keep all my sort of finesse Z-Man baits. The bags fit perfectly in the little slots, and that's kind of helping me stay organized, and I got access to all my favorite baits in this nice little container. All right guys, final tip. If you come to Lake of the Woods, this is sort of more bass focused, but come to Lake of the Woods during the summer. bring some topwaters. Every day of the year you can catch bass on throughout the summer, bass on topwaters on this lake. And whether it's a popper, a prop bait, a walking bait like this Bagley Knocker B, they all work. I like to use the walking baits like this more in open water. Resemble like a fleeing bait fish, an injured Cisco maybe fighting on the surface. If I get a little bit shallower, that's when I'm gonna want to go with the popper around some largemouths maybe, and just shallower boulders where you can cast it. It's a little bit slower to work, but if you put it over top of a high percentage spot, probably gonna get a bite. Same with the prop bait, good for covering water up shallow. But if I'm out in the main, deeper stuff, I'm gonna go with a walking bait like this. When it comes to rigging up, big fan of braid. It allows me to make a really long cast and also get a good hook set on a long cast. And then what I do is I actually put a leader of, and I've used this one a few times and retied it so it's shortened up, but a pretty short leader of 20-pound mono. So the mono has a lot of stretch, it's strong, and it's also stiff enough to where you can tie the braid direct to the bait, that's fine, but you're gonna end up with the line caught on the hooks a little bit more. So the stiffer mono leader just kind of helps to keep that line away from the hooks, and you're not gonna have as much downtime. I like to change the hooks out on my topwaters to Gamakatsu G Finesse trebles. That's a little feathered tail that I made, but they make some really nice trailers you can buy as well. But doctor up your baits, get some good hooks on them if you're serious about it, and try throwing your topwaters on braid.